Hi Cancer, welcome to your July reading and hello from Cancer season. Oh boy. Oh boy. What can we say about how it's been so far? Why don't we let these cards talk a little bit and then I will fill you in on the astrology. Lots of napping going on, lots of yearning, lots of, oh my god, these claws aren't working, which we knew was going to happen, which is why we talked about the heart claws. But sometimes we're not happy with the heart claws. Sometimes the heart claws are not enough. So, you know, from now until the 10th, nobody really understands what you're saying. After the 10th, you have acquired enough silence. Your cup is quite full. And whomever you would like to explain something to, you can just say a little bit, just a little, and your words will hold quite a lot of weight. This is not an energy that you want to squander. This is not the person who nags you. This is not the person who proves their worth to you. This is not the person who constantly hits you up to remind you that they're still there and they still exist. This is not the person who is worried that somebody will be chosen over them. This is you feeling great about you. This is July 10th. Mars moves into Virgo, and you feel strong. You feel like you have the words to say whatever it is that you feel, negative, positive, doesn't matter. But you don't feel the need to belabor the point at all. And that's what's important. Embodying this energy, it's your first card. It's your season. We're dealing with mother energy, but we're also dealing with the inner child. If we're dealing with the mother, then we're also dealing with the inner child. I'm writing about, the children through the zodiac, but also realizing that I'm writing about the inner child. So this is very much on my mind right now. But when we're dealing with Cancer season, mother season, we're also dealing with the inner child and how we react to the mother. This is cool with others and compassionate with self. Okay? So Mars in Virgo, it'll give you the words, but also, you know how Virgos can be a bit verbose? You don't want to belabor the point, because one of the things that can happen, and has been happening with Cancerians, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, since childhood, is pushing things to the point where you reach a deadlock. And now you can't get that person to change their mind at all. Usually a parent, right, when you're young. A caregiver, caretaker. So we don't want to have this Mars and Virgo energy get on top of us. Because as Cancers, there is that frustration of knowing the feeling but not being able to find the words. So Mars and Virgo will give you the words, and that will feel so good that you're going to want to use the words a lot. And if this energy gets on top of you, excuse me, then it will come across as nagging. It will come across as, it can even be a little bit abusive, if we're going to be honest, right? Sorry, Virgo. But it can be very insistent. Okay, so we just want to be careful that we don't let our communication just out of the excitement of being able to use the words, you know, and the power that it gives us, right? How it makes us feel, because then we're going to be moving into Leo season. We love this for us, right? We have the power, and then we'll have the fire to say what we want. And we've been waiting a while to say what we want. Yeah. And some of us have been waiting a while to say what we want to somebody that we feel has authority over us. But be really careful with that, okay? Because astrologically, this is also a month where if you push someone into a deadlock, where you just take it too far with them, they're going to, just to prove that they have authority over you, they're going to push back. And you may not like the way they push back. Probably push back with silence, because it's the only thing that really works with us. So if you don't want things to degrade to that point where someone has to say to you, listen, I think I actually do have quite some authority over you, maybe that's a conversation you need to have with yourself before you end up having it with them mid-month. It's okay if somebody has sway over you. It's better for you to understand that than to pretend that it's not happening. But maybe if you understand it, admit it, whatever you need to do, accept it, you can start to change that. Perhaps that's what's, you know, needing to happen. But to pretend that it's not happening is only going to make the person who indeed does have power over you want to kind of exert that and show you that. We don't want that. It doesn't suit our cardinal nature. Our cardinal nature. I've been in the house for a couple of days. It's Cancer season and I don't feel like going outside. Okay, let's keep going. So, okay, now the thing with having all these words and wanting to speak truth to power and, you know, almost pushing things to a deadlock, here's the other thing about that. Everybody wants to do their own thing, and your own thing is coming in very strong as well. So for you to have time to do all of this, which is a lot, you need to leave people alone so they can do their thing. And it's not as much as your thing. Your thing is way much more. So you should be focused here and just let them, you know, deal. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're going through, accept it. Don't fight the feeling. Okay? There's no need to try to make sense right now of what people are saying. Whatever they're telling you, whatever they're like, oh, this is what it is, that's what it is. We're not doing any Inspector Gadgeting. We're not trying to figure out what they really... Listen, you as of Leo season, as of the 23rd, when the sun moves into Leo, you have so much going on. Let's get from now until the 23rd, let's get there without nagging anybody, without doing any power plays, without sending any risque texts, without losing focus. Because this thing, whatever it is that really goes into hyperspeed, you know you're supposed to be prepping it now. You know you're supposed to be working on it already. Whatever you've been focusing on, all this nonsense. First of all, whatever this is, as soon as Mars goes into Virgo, you know it's going to work itself out. You're worrying yourself over nothing, and you probably knew months ago that when Mars moved into Virgo that it was going to work itself out. But hey, you know, you like to worry. So this, though, this is not something you have to worry about. This is something that you can indulge in. This is your inner child roaring to go. Let's do the things I like to do. Come on, come on, come on. Create, create, create. That guy, that girl, that person, like, come on, let's I want to do stuff. So your inner child is extremely happy about the good stuff coming in. And since everybody needs a break anyway, and it's nothing personal, why not? Why not give yourself a break too? Why not just be a kid and go to the fucking museum? Right? So some of you have either like a new living situation or someone close to your living situation, someone in the neighborhood, someone in your building, someone real close to you that you're gonna get close to or you are getting close to, and they're very different from you. And if you're worried about it right now and you're like, oh, I don't know what's gonna, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. You know, there's some difficulties, there's some obstacles. I think there's, you know, you're not the easiest person, let's say, when you have feelings for somebody. So if you're having feelings for somebody or you're starting to like someone, if you're starting to feel all like cagey and like you want to run, or if you've been running, it's fine. It's okay. But let me explain something to you. And this is going to tie back into the inner child thing. Let's have our little talk. Now that we have our cards, let's have our little talk. And in the extended, you can see the cards and we'll do our other kind of talk. It's very hard to respond appropriately to people's behavior and to keep yourself central in your life when you are unaware of what you are. And I don't mean that you should be conceited, and I don't mean that you should think more of yourself than anybody else, or that you should have some sort of a superiority complex, because as we all know, superiority complexes are just dressed up inferiority complexes anyway. There is no such thing as a superiority complex. So I don't mean that. But I mean when we are ill-informed, misinformed about our value. When we're confused about who we are, what we bring to the table. Maybe nobody ever told us. Maybe they told us the numbers should be here and we're only here. Maybe they told us you can only come to the table if you look like this. Whatever they told you. However they confused you. However they scared you. You can't tell good from bad anymore. But until you figure it out, you can't really know why people are behaving the way they're behaving. You may think you know, you've got great powers of deduction, you're very intuitive, yada yada, yes we know. But how do you really know what people are reacting to when you're so in the dark about who they're reacting to? If you knew yourself, if you could look, for example, I got a true mirror right there. You look in the mirror and you're like, oh wow, that's what I actually look like. That's amazing. If you actually knew what you look like, if you actually knew what you are like, what you bring, what your heart brings, what your soul brings, what your fierce loyalty brings, if you had some real understanding of the value of it, it would affect how you take in people's actions and their words and perhaps their criticisms and even disappointments. And I know this is a recurring theme and we continue to talk about it, but even when something is disappointing, even when, you desperately want to win at something and it doesn't seem like you will or you can, turning that energy of defeat onto yourself, one, it's not logical, right? Because you're the same person who got yourself into the situation that you're now upset that you might be losing. So it has nothing to do with you. You got yourself in it. Just because now you're getting yourself out of it doesn't mean that you weren't worthy of getting yourself in it. Don't do that to yourself. Two, when you don't get what you want, that's when you really start to see where the holes are in that personal story of yours, in those psychocybernetic settings, right? That's when you really start to notice where you're falling through the cracks. As long as you're getting what you want and people are doing what you want, you know, you're basically coasting, right? But as soon as things don't go your way, you start to see where, you know, the scary cups behind this persona are. And what I'm saying is, maybe this is the best time, while you're not getting what you want in whatever respect, to just really look at that stuff in the face and say, okay, I don't want to be like this anymore. I would love to get rid of this stuff. I would love to not think this way. Whether this thing or this person or this job or opportunity comes through or not, I see that it's directing me towards this very obvious wounding, and I would like to take care of that, because I would truly like to know what I am when I walk into a situation, so I can appropriately respond to whatever happens to me, right? And I can appropriately respond to people's reaction to me. And what you'll find is that as we get into Leo season, you're really into this, and inadvertently, you just working on yourself and kind of giving up on the situation, whatever it is that seems to be getting out of your claws, you just letting it go seems to bring it right back. And I think that's what you have to remember. The circularity is what you have to remember when it comes to certain personality types. Okay? And that is this. Cancers have this rubber band quality. We walk sideways, but we make these kind of ellipses. And we make these ellipses around the people that we love, the people that we like, the people that we hate, the people that we want to hurt. We do it with everybody. And for different reasons, right? So anyone that you've put into one of these ellipses, you've kind of carved out the sand around them. You know, you've molded it out. They've got nowhere to go. They're stuck in this ellipse. And some of you Cancerians are right now going, yep, I got a lot of those all over the beach. Yeah, I'm sure you do. And you got a lot of people stuck in those ellipses, right? We got a Virgo here. We got a fire sign here. We have this lovely lady, the Empress here. They always come up in the Cancer reading. Someone who's just stuck in one of your spins. But for some reason, when that person is on the outside of this ellipse, you, yourself, the one who made this little trap, forget. And you start to think that they're never going to come back around. And then when they do come back around, you're like a little kid. You're like, the train came back around. Wow. Well, yeah, because you made the track. Of course the train came back around. But you're so much, you know, the tide is the moment. The tide is right now. Cancer energy is right now. I'm dealing with what's happening right now. You need something right now. You need something right now. I can do something right now. I can do this right now. So for you, the idea that you're the one who made this in the sand, you're the one who put this person in this thing, you're the one who's created this whole kind of rubber band shaped thing, and they're going to, you know, they're just going to snap back around to you anyway. You forget all that. And all you think is, oh, well, they're so far away. And so when they come back around, it's like they're coming back around from the first time. You're like, oh, wow, they came back. Yeah. And they've probably been doing it forever. And any new person that you meet probably ends up doing that with you forever. So whoever it is that's on the outside of one of these right now, you know, and they're all the way over there in the sand, I know you're in the moment, and I know the tide is going, and I know everything is roaring, and I know it's a full moon, and yeah, but it's all coming back around. Don't worry. You want to look at these cards? Okay, also, Los Angeles, the venue we picked is so dope. I'll put the link for the venue below. That's on the 9th. And then Oakland, dope. Very few people coming to Oakland. My fault because I didn't really advertise it. So you can bring a friend. And that is below as well. Love you.